Hello, this is sort of an update video to my last full-blown video. Luckily, I guess, luckily or not luckily to myself. I think luckily to myself because I'm just looking at a lot of the discourse online and it's all shitty. This is about uh, the assault allegations put forward by Naomi King against booktuber Daniel Green. And um, she and in which I basically talked about how, yeah, I believe her. There's the whole court process, and there's the and what he might be legally found guilty of, and then there's just sort of like, uh, at least at this point, him not particularly disputing the documented facts of the case, and basically believing what Naomi King has alleged. And then, I mean, there's been a couple of things. He came out with that weird robotic video saying like I'm not guilty and I'm going to sue her, except written obviously as kind of a legal document that he read out very kind of like, not making eye contact with camera. Um, Literally, I guess the internet's gun to his head as he's doing this. Um, that came out, and then, and I made a video on it, just sort of talking about it in general, and just my general feelings of what it brought up for me, of like how kind of the mob whipped up um, from my video, um, partially at least from my video, putting that forward, and how I had conflicted feelings about it. And one of those feelings being about just kind of the mentality of a whole bunch of people all getting upset and kind of morally upset at somebody, whether, positive or negative um, consequences for that. It's just like, that's a lot of power. And you can see, it's funny, it's one of those things of I can see people who like whipping people up and getting that rush of just getting people rah behind them. I can see that being there. Freaked me out, freaked me the fuck out, and sort of axed my channel that way in some ways because of that. Just yeah, just I did not like that at all. Even when it was supportive, it was disturbing in a way. Um, Especially since like you're just taking, well, yeah. I mean, I tried to give my own evidences and stuff like that for it. So there's that. Um, Then Naomi King came out with a second video where I think, unfortunately for our culture, she did the thing that violates the shitty thing in our culture is, if you're going to be a victim, you have to be a pure victim. You have to be basically a perfect virgin who was saying, no, I don't want to do this, and was a perfect virgin and never ever did anything slightly sexual in your life, and kind of that kind of super impossible thing, which is why you then get people asking like, well, what were you wearing, were you leading them on, all this kind of stuff, which is all some way supposed to excuse someone assaulting you because you wore something, or in this case, you were in a particular kind of relationship with Daniel Green, which, she didn't deny in the first one. In the second video, she became much more explicit in that they had kind of a, I don't know, sugar daddy, but kind of a, he was taking her to treat her. There was a financial reciprocation going on with him getting to be with her, which again is just, you know it's the gross. Well, okay, look. A lot of people have relationships like that, and I shouldn't be shitting on them. Um, you know, and however you feel about him cheating on his partner, that's probably between him and his partner. Doesn't sound like it was something where like they had an open relationship or anything, so it's shitty that way. But not illegal, not particularly to do with me and the person. I might think less of that person because of it, but it's their kind of, people do shit, and a lot of people do shit, which doesn't make it right, but does make it understandable. And if it's between consent, well, yeah, again, between Daniel Green and his partner. Um, but people have definitely taken that they had a kind of ongoing thing, that like a lot of people who are in abusive things where they have been assaulted, it takes them a fucking while to process that and realize, hey, wait a minute, that 6 months ago or whatever, a year ago, I was assaulted and I didn't figure it out really until now. That's kind of natural. That is unusual kind of thing for you get traumatized. You don't immediately in that situation stand up and say, I must go to the police and report this, and you have assaulted me. It's like, no, it's like you're completely shut down. You go through a lot of stuff. She also did some stuff that seemed like her own kind of spiraling. She's not the perfect victim. She did a reenactment of the assault, which just like it's there to really hammer home what kind of a person he is. Unfortunately, it also kind of doesn't reflect great on her back. Does that make what she says any less valid? No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, of course, all this has, it looks like from because on her video before, there was a couple of fairly prominent booktubers who said like, oh, I stand with you, da, da, da. Those comments have disappeared from the initial video, and all that she seems to have company in now is the basically anti woke men's right mob who is coming for her, saying, you're just a lying bitch who's trying to ruin this guy, and it's not proven innocent until proven guilty, dude, and all that stuff, and is taking this excuse, and her unfortunately handing them lots of ammunition to just fucking go at her like crazy. It's just like, it's unfortunately, if Daniel Green's quote statement was self-destructive, her second video was equally, if not more, self-destructive, in that she has muddied and complicated things that much more. I mean, they were going to be, maybe they figured, I just need to get out ahead of this and reveal all this stuff right now, because if he's taking me to court, they're going to do this in dribs and drabs and they'll tear me up and down, so I'm just going to do it all at once, which I don't know if doing the defense's job for them of besmearing yourself is the best way to go. She obviously was trying to kind of present it in the best light, as you do about stuff, your own stuff. You try and do it that own way, which is just to say it's really fucking sad. It's a sad situation, and it's a sad situation which has, you look at all the online comments, the people who are obviously kind of outside of BookTube coming in to do drama videos on it, to make fun of her, to it's really fucking gross, and sad and disgusting, and yeah, it's not going to put her in a great place. I still think Daniel Green's probably fucking toast. I'll be surprised if he comes back. He'll have a whole big audience of people who basically spat on him for being some kind of a liberal feminist weasel. That's what they'll think of him. So I don't know if they're going to make a great audience for him to rebuild his career under. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm pretty sure he's toast, which I can't say I'm too sorry about. But yeah, that's about where it's at. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of come back and just like say, obviously I didn't have anything to say. That's why I make all these videos to myself where I'm just talking to myself about them, because I don't have anything to cooperate to it. I'm just using this to kind of work out my own shit, man. But you know, uh, it just I mean, it points out there aren't perfect situations where you have a perfect victim, where you have um, that you know all you can do is support very imperfect people, and also, you know, do that. I was watching Bookish, Brian at Bookish, which he's the Bookish Texan now, and talking about how in these kind of situations it's like, yes, believe the women, um, believe them, support them, but don't take that as a cue to kind of form a mob and attack the accuser, because the accuser, if there's going to be punishment, will happen legally. And I mean, you don't have to attack them. You could just say, like, well, if I'm subscribed to Daniel Green and I just fucking can't look at the guy anymore, unsubscribe to him. And that's probably, you know, a good negative reaction, a reaction to him which isn't you harassing or making their life hell. You're just withdrawing your attention, and that's maybe is for something like the social media. Withdrawing attention is the worst thing you can do to someone. Or someone like me, it's like, you can just leave me the fuck alone. No attention, please. Yeah, but I just wanted to, because I think you know, her second video, it's like, yeah, it's not surprising that it's complicated and that she's not perfect and a virgin and just it's like, no, she's a complicated person who's obviously trying to get by, and one of the ways to get by is to be in relationships with wealthy, powerful guys, and that doesn't give wealthy, powerful guys the excuse to sexually assault her. So, you know, there's that. But, you know, and it's also one of these things that you get into power dynamics, and power dynamics can be the sexiest thing in the world, and they can be the most dangerous fucking thing in the world, and they can be the trickiest thing in the world to navigate from both sides. It's just that, you know, usually it's the person who's in the lower power position is the one that gets the shit from it, in the end, the majority of the shit. Which isn't to say Daniel Green isn't getting the shit. It's just sometimes, from everything that's been outlined, he probably deserves to be getting the shit. Yeah, yeah. So that's where that is. I'm gonna leave it there because, you know, I'm a know nothing bozo.